Welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Grand Arena Championships Season 8, Week 1, Round 2. Something I didn't mention last round was that for this season I've been bumped up to Division 1. I was expecting a lot tougher competition, but even though my GP is higher and I'm getting matched against people who are 400,000 or 500,000 GP higher than me, because it is the bottom end of Division 1, the opponents aren't particularly focused on GAC, it seems. None of them have gas. My current opponent for round 2, Florican, has a roster that is very similar to mine. So let's take a look at that matchup. As you can see, I have a preponderance of the green on my side. And when we look at the particulars of this matchup, you will see that as far as Grand Arena, I dominate in every single category. Wins 3 times as much, undersizes. It looks like he doesn't play Grand Arena very often, or just doesn't really care about Grand Arena that much. When we look at our rosters, however, you will notice that he has a 400,000 GP advantage on me. He also has advantage on top 80 and top 60, but I have more Zetas and I have considerable more speed than he does. I also have double the amount of G13 characters, even though he has a much broader roster than I do. Mods, I'm beating him in speed and in relics as well. So I have the clear-cut advantage on this particular matchup, although when I looked at his GAC history, it seemed like he put a lot on defense each time. So I went into this Grand Arena Championship thinking I needed to save a little bit more for offense. So let me show you the board and how that played out in terms of what defense I set. Now last round I struggled to get through on offense, so I took out a lot of my gimmicky squads and I focused down my roster to take advantage of my top 65. Bastila, a pretty standard Bosk. I have a Poggle with B2 and Django, and then one of my Nice Sister squads here. Up top, in the back, I again saved more for offense and put Tarkin with Bugs on my defense. In the bottom here, you can see I took Malik off of defense and I put Sith Empire Trooper there with Palpatine. I have my normal Newt, Dooku, and Droideka, and then Shock T with some clones. But instead of having 2 different clone teams, I only have 1. In the back, I took Ahsoka with Juhani and Ezra, just some leftover Jedi. The Karth team, the same Stormtrooper Han with Baze and Chirrut, and then my Grievous. So I did save considerably more for offense, and let's see what he said. He put a Shock T with clones, a Boba, the Fets with Cad. He set a pretty, again, standard bounty hunter team, and then a Karth team as well. On the bottom here, he has his Relic Traya, a Darth Revan, and his Grievous. It looks like he put his toughest teams right down here in the front, and rather than undercommit and try and squeak past these to save good teams for the back, I just decided I'm going to go in with my best counters. And if I get stuck in the back, I had more on offense this time than last time, and I was pretty confident that I'd be able to churn through whatever he put back there. So this first one, his Darth Revan, I took my Padme team in. I chose not to do my defense up move here. I figured I'd let them debuff me a little bit first in order to try and get as many stacks of courage. And it almost backfired there. Padme almost got lost right from the get-go. But I'm able to turn that into quite a few stacks. You can see there 18 on Kenobi, and he's able to take out Darkside Bastila with that. And then it's just a matter of time before getting the rest of them down. So I have difficulty sometimes with the Padme counter on 5v5 against Darth Revan, but on the 3v3 it worked really well. Against this Traya team, I decide that I'm going to just take my CLS. Back in the old meta when Traya was a thing in Arena, I used to counter it with CLS all the time, so pretty comfortable doing that. and both my Han and Chewie are Relic 3 because I've been using them in Arena myself to counter gas teams with my Darth Revan. So I was confident that even though Traya was Relic 4, they'd be able to tear through them fairly quickly and easily. Here I decide to just take out Scion, even though Nihilus is the bigger threat, because I didn't think he would have nearly enough time to get Annihilate off, and he didn't. But 51 banners, not amazing, but down in 1 is what I'm looking for. Next we have the Grievous team, but with this Grievous there is no taunt, so he went Droideka and B1. So I just decided to take my JKR and right out the bat, go ahead and mark Grievous and chew through him. He's also only gear 12, so no relics on there. I wasn't really too worried. I probably could have undersized this, but again, this early on, I don't want to take any risks. I just want to get through these front zone to open up the back. I was kind of expecting that he would have some tough teams in the back, but at this point I still saved a few of my better squads. Again, I just went a little lighter on defense to stack my offense. I didn't want to get stuck in a situation where I had to take 9 battles to clear a squad like I did last round. Now, one miscalculation I made in this battle was bringing Jolee in probably wasn't necessary since it wasn't a Relic Grievous, and because I brought Jolee, I didn't bring in anybody who could dispel, and so I got stuck hitting this Droideka with his damage immunity for a little bit until he would take a turn. Finally, he took a turn, and I was able to finish him off. So 53 banners. All in all, I'm happy with this front zone. I committed a bunch of my best teams against it, but again, I saved other stuff for the back, and it turned out he didn't really set anything in the back that would scare me anyway. So at this point, my biggest question is, did I save too much for offense? I started getting worried that I put such a weak defense down that he was going to be able to tear through me relatively quickly. So I started to think about how could I be more efficient? How could I min-max on my banners? So on this one, there wasn't really a whole lot of options. I decided JTR would still be my best bet for banners against his Bosk team. Always worried about Zam and Dengar and those thermals, so I figured by being able to take in JTR, just a normal counter, I'll be able to stun lock enough and get turn meter down enough to hopefully minimize those thermals and just chew through this Bosk. Now, something I noticed when I was going through this opponent's GAC history was that he did keep his top squads for offense and then threw probably his next 5 or 6 or 7 best on defense. And it looks to me like because the 3v3, maybe he's just not used to it, he didn't do as good a job of that as I was expecting. I really was expecting a much more stout defense, which made me a little worried that now his offensive squads would be that much better. But I'm able to take out Bosk and get Illuminate Destiny up to restore some of my protection. Just working on Dengar here, and there he goes. So 53, a good result. I'm happy with that. Next one up is going to be the Fets with Cad Bane, and for that counter I decide I'm going to go ahead and go with my bugs. Bigger, I have to chew through Boba and Jango twice each, and so one of my best bets to do that effectively is just all the assists that the Geos give me. You can see I'm starting to work on Jango first and get him down once. Unfortunately get stunned there and take a big hit from Jango. So I've already lost quite a bit of health protection there, and so I decide I'm gonna go ahead and take the heal early. Maybe I'd get around to it a second time, was my thinking here. It doesn't heal anybody up to full. I'm hoping that through just my sheer hits that I'll be gaining back enough health protection to make up some banners. But turns out I kill Cad Bane too quickly. That's one thing I've noticed with 3v3 is you can't really extend the battles that long oftentimes to recover banners. So 51, not ideal. But here I decide, I saved Malik for offense, thinking that maybe I could solo a squad. Now, I've never soloed with Malik before. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. My Malik is Relic 5, so it's got good mods, good, well geared, but I do start to worry about how he's going to hold up here. I know this is a known counter that you can solo Karth with Malik, that you can even solo 5-man Karth teams with Malik. So I wasn't super worried, but I'd never done it before. So going through, took out mission already. Gonna go ahead and just kill Zalbar off since he's already down lower health. Probably could have saved that drain for Karth, but one-shot Karth anyway, and a 56. So in thinking that I have to worry about banners, that was a really nice step in the right direction. And then I have this Shock T squad left up top, and I have my Darth Revan squad left. So I figure this is probably the best use for it, that this Shock T clone squad was their best one they had left. Now, interesting enough, he does have a Zeta on 5s, but it's the wrong Zeta. It's not the Sacrifice Zeta. It's the Domino squad one. So I'm not worried about that, but the 5s end up taunting anyway, so I have to chew through him, even though I'd rather get Shock T out first. And you can see the Shock T squad is doing work against my Relic Revan squad. And in fact, after losing to Padme with this Relic Revan squad last time, and now not getting great banners this time, 49, I'm actually considering changing up how I split my Revan squad apart for next round. But the top zone is done. Moving on to the back. He also doesn't set a strong defense for me on ships, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my negotiator in and take out these bugs. After last round's debacle in ships and my recent struggles in arena with ships, I am starting to allocate some of my resources to getting Bosk and Ahsoka up to gear 13. And after the next territory battle, I should have enough currency to unlock Malevolence, and then I'll be able to move back and start working on getting Negotiator up to 6 stars. So that will help. This battle in particular I wasn't worried about at all. His Geos are fine, but they're not anything to write home about, and Negotiator just seems to have a clear advantage in this battle. Bringing my Plo to try and heal up and get some turn meter back. I was hoping I could just get rid of the soldier quickly, but he ends up getting his shuttle in. So I go ahead and hit it with the AoE. I've almost lost Ahsoka here, so I decide that I'm gonna do the ability so that even if she dies, she'll come back, or rather can't die. And a little bummer I can't take out that other Geo because he's in stealth, so I'll call in 5s. This battle, it was always just how many banners would I get, and because my negotiator is only 5 stars, I'm automatically losing some from there. So 61 is a great result considering how ships have been going for me lately, and that leaves me with this bottom zone. Now, I feel like I've been okay in efficiency, but this bottom zone is where I feel like I can really try to flex the offensive muscle a little bit, since I did save so much that I can try and put up a good enough score that he won't be able to catch me. So even though I've underestimated Phoenix before, this Phoenix team was not scary to me. I decided to go ahead and solo Wampa it, and a couple hits there, and Chopper and Hera are gone. This Ezra is gear 12 with the Zeta, but I wasn't worried about him either. And there we go, another 56 from Wampa. Now, in the theme of let's go ahead and solo stuff, I decided I've got my nest. I was kind of thinking he might put Ewoks back here, and he didn't. But he's got these troopers, and they're not very good, and I wasn't worried about them really doing a ton of damage to me. There wasn't anybody on here that I felt like could one-shot my nest or stun my nest, so I decided, what the heck, let's go with a third solo battle and see if that works. I didn't want to drop any battles. Again, I'm trying to be as efficient as possible. I did my attacks really early this round, which is normally I wait, but just timing wise it made more sense to do it early. So I really want to put up a big number to make it hard on my opponent, make them a little nervous while they're doing their stuff. So 55 is great, not the 56 that my other two solos got, but good enough. I've got this Newt squad with Watt and this Rex team. So I do have a couple squads that I had been saving just in case. So I've got my Treya trio here and decided to go with them against the Watt team. Something about having Watt in the battle just makes me nervous. And this way I knew I could isolate B2 in order to get to Watt and to Newt. Unfortunately, I still don't have Watt. I think I'm 7 shards away. Hopefully you'll get him after the next territory battle that happens. So, Watt's gone. Have my Annihilate up. Decided to go ahead and take out B2. And all we're left with is Newt. And I figured that way, even though Newt will go stealth after his first kill, he'll be the only character there, so I can just go right back at him. And I decided to pay the extortion. Every banner counts, I figured. And there goes Newt. So a 53. I was losing a little protection on Nihilus, I think. And we got one last team left. It is this Rex squad with some clones. And I decided I'm going to do Kylo, but because I had Thrawn left, I put Thrawn in there instead of First Order Officer, just to get even more control. And I go ahead and stun Rex right off the bat with a fracture rather, and then stun Cody and start working on this ARC Trooper, because he is the lowest geared. I want to say he's gear 8. And even though I didn't bring First Order Executioner along, I knew I had enough damage to take these guys out. And between Crew's 2-turn stun and Thrawn's fracture, I had so much control. I wasn't worried about anything here. I thought about undersizing this as well, but I didn't want to push my luck at this point, being the last team that I was going up against. And that does it, and a perfect 54. So a nice way to end it. Looking at my board, I put up a 2466. That's only, I want to say, about 10 banners off the quote-unquote max that we can get, the soft max. So I'm really, really happy with that score, but it is still 20 hours to go. So I'm going to check in later to see if he attacked. Okay, we're back, and it's only about 10 minutes left, and he did not appear to attack. Let's go ahead and look at my defenses, just make sure he didn't try anything, and 0 attempts on any NADs on the bottom, and 0 attempts on any ones on the top. So he never did attack me. I just put such a big number out there. That's probably the best score I'm going to get this Grand Arena season. And so I'm really happy with the win, and I'm going to try my best to find a happy medium between too much offense and too much defense for the last round. In any event, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next round.